Hey everyone, I am turning 30. It's something for me to process, but it's honestly a good thing, and I'm excited about it. So the purpose of this video is it's part one of a two-part series, the 30 things that I've personally learned turning 30. So the first thing is that time flies, and I know that sounds super cliche, but it's true. I literally started real estate almost 10 years ago, if you can believe it, because it goes by so fast. And as you get older, you really just need to take an opportunity and stop and smell the roses, because it's important to be mindful and that there's no time better than the present. So the second thing is that life is not all about me. Lo and behold, that was a big life lesson for me. And what I mean by that is everyone has their own story, everyone has their own opinion, their own interpretation, and to be frank, most people are self-centered. So I just need to worry about myself, and other people will take care of their own selves. And as I've got older, I've learned that it's an actual beautiful thing to have those heartfelt debates with one another, because we can add value and learn from one another. Number three, with regards to real estate, I've learned that I'm not a salesman and I'm more of an influencer and an advisor, and I need to put myself in their shoes. And once I started doing that, I became much more better at my job, because I was able to leverage my expertise with their rationale, and it ends up being a much more positive and favorable win-win outcome that usually results in them getting what they want. Number four, I found out who my real friends actually are. In 2012, I decided to rent the patio of my building on the 8th floor here, literally just to become more popular and more well-known. And this is just the true story and what happened. It was a massive success. I think in the first year I had like 200 or 300 people, which was crazy to me. So that the next summer, Pride 2013, I believe it was, I decided to do the same thing, except I had this creative little idea of why don't I accept donations and put all the money towards a charity. So year after year, I host this party, and it's turned into this massive success. Just last year alone, we raised $15,000 for the suicide prevention line, specifically the Crisis Center of BC. And where I'm going at with this is it's not necessarily about the number of friends that you have, but more so about taking care, loving, and nurturing the small circle of friends that you have, so that you can have long-lasting, healthy relationships that are thriving on mutual respect, which is unfortunately hard to find these days. And so that's definitely one of the biggest takeaways that I've got from turning 30. Number five, life's better when it's busy. However, although it's better when it's busy, you need to be engaged, living in that present moment. And that was something that took me a long time to figure out, because if you're always planning things ahead or living in the past, how can you enjoy what's right in front of you? And how can the other people that you're with enjoy that if you're somewhere else over there? Number six, and probably the most true and authentic thing that I've had to learn in my entire life, is I need to stop comparing myself to other people. The turning point for this for me was that I realized that I was literally spending more time viewing my competitors' Instagram stories than I was on the ground actually developing meaningful relationships that would essentially lead to me making more sales and becoming more successful, so to speak. But the moral of the story is, you do you and I'll do me. Number seven is that social media is fake. You're probably like, what do you mean it's fake? But let's think about it. Do you really think that the people that you follow are posting the most raw, vulnerable moments in their lives? They probably aren't. And it ties into the thing that I just said before. Stop comparing yourself to other people. At the end of the day, social media is not real. However, with that being said, there's also a lot of positive things that come out of it. Number one, you can take a look and be engaged with your friends' lives, see what they're doing, especially if they're across the world or traveling. You can essentially be living vicariously through them. Number two, you can make meaningful relationships and meet brand new people. In summary, take it for what it is and don't take it too seriously, because you'll drive yourself crazy. Number eight is that traveling has enriched my soul. And I'm very blessed and grateful to disclose that I've had the opportunity to travel the world and travel to several continents like South America, Europe, all across North America. Some of my favorite cities would include Barcelona in Spain. I've met some of the most amazing people in the world there, and also very close to that, Madrid, Spain. That's actually where I'm supposed to be for my 30th birthday. But to be frank, I've accepted that that's not my reality right now, and I'm happy to be here and enjoying the summer in Vancouver. Another place that I love so much that owns so much of my heart is Brazil. And if you're Brazilian and watching, you know what this is. It's scapulari. Thank you very much, Phil, for that gift. Never take it off. But what I mean by this all is if you have the means and you're lucky enough to be able to travel, I strongly encourage you to do it because it will honestly enrich your soul. And when you come back to Vancouver or wherever you live, you'll have a completely different perspective that will make you a better, more compassionate human being. Number 9, to be present with whatever I'm doing. What I mean by that is to be focusing and engaged. So there's nothing that frustrates me more, and I'll be honest, I used to do this, than being with a friend and then being on their cell phone. Because in that situation, you're not present. And if for whatever reason I cannot be present with whatever I'm doing or whoever I'm with, then I'm gonna respectfully just disengage with what I'm doing because it's not fair to not only me, but to the other people around me. Number 10, life is not defined by money. Now, this is a very difficult one for me to speak of because it has changed me. And I'll just be real and honest. I was, for the longest time, very lucky and grateful to be earning a very healthy income based on the work that I do in real estate. And markets change. And this was a big life adjustment for me that I probably wasn't prepared for, but it was meant to happen for a reason because I learned, although money can buy you comfort, it cannot buy you happiness. And I am so grateful that has actually happened because I feel like there are so many beautiful, positive things that have come out from that experience. If I could say anything to you guys, the viewers, it would be just have fun with what you're doing and live in the present moment. That's all. Number 11, and some of you may disagree with this, but this is what I've personally learned and come to terms with, is that it is not physically possible to make everyone happy. Number 1 is you need to make yourself happy. And once you've done that, what you can do is you can make a select group of people around you happy. And in my personal experience and based off of what I used to do, it's not physically possible to actually attempt to make everyone happy. And people that do that end up usually being either unsuccessful or those relationships are just basically subpar. So in summary, I've decided that I'm gonna pick the relationships that I'm gonna continue to nurture and make them the absolute best that they can be, because at the end of the day, there's only so much time in that day. Number 12, and this is something that I wish I had done more of, but I had done some of, to be frank, is read. Whether it be actually reading a book or listening to an audible, there is so much value and perspective that you can take from reading. And I'm gonna share a story, which is a story that I share to people that I meet almost every single day. And now that I'm turning 30, I read this book because my first boyfriend at the time, Ian, if you're watching, hey Ian, he didn't ask, but he forced me to read this book. And I remember when I was 19 years old, I was so stubborn and set in my ways. Not much has changed, although I did agree to read the book. But I would summarize it by basically instilling a whole new set of perspective about how and why gay men do the things that they do. I'm not gonna say anything else, but if you're bi, if you're gay, if you're frustrated and you're kind of at a catalyst where you don't understand your meaning or why the LGBTQ community is behaving in the way that they do, I strongly recommend that you check out this book, The Velvet Rage. It's a good one, and it's an easy read too, come on. Number 13, and this has nothing to do with luck or unluck or whatever you want to call it, but it simply means putting myself first and saying no. I'll give you a few examples of that. I'm lucky enough that I have a lot of friends, and with my line of work, there's all these competing priorities about going to dinners and family engagements and hanging out and etc. And if I was to say yes to absolutely everything that was proposed to me, I would have absolutely no time for myself. And it took me a long time, I'll be honest, to figure that out, because I realistically just want to make everyone happy from the bottom of my own heart. But in the mix of that, I don't make myself happy, and it has nothing to do with those relationships. But let's be real, I just need time to myself and to relax. And so One thing that I've learned, and it, like I said, took me a long time, is to say no when I'm not feeling it. And if I do make plans with someone, and for whatever reason, I cannot be 100% present, like I talked about a few minutes ago, then I need to call them up and apologize and say, hey, I know that we have plans, and I'm not usually a flake, but I cannot do it. For whatever reason, I can't be engaged, and we need to reschedule. Segueing and kind of contrary to what I just said, I need to say yes. And what I mean by that is it's always easy to just stick to the status quo and do things that you normally do. And I'll be direct and forthcoming by saying that my life was pretty consistent from 2012 till 2018, and I loved it. I was a man addicted to change. And when the market slipped, so did many other things in my life. And it was kind of like this catalyst to change. And my initial reaction, and I'll be frank with you viewers, is that I resisted it all. And I was not okay with it. And it led me into a very dark place, a place that I hope no one ever goes to. But the positive and real outcome of it is that I learned that I had to change perspective. And me being pushed outside of my comfort zone had actually allowed me to grow as a person. So it's okay and a good thing to be taking risks and saying yes to things that you wouldn't normally do. And if you're not successful, jump back on that horse, because guess what? It's all good. Last thing that I learned is to learn a new language. It's pretty obvious how much I love Brazil. The first time I went there, I was so infatuated the country of Brazil. I look like a goofball right now looking for it, but there it is that I said to my best friend Phil, I am going to learn Portuguese. E quando eu estava aqui em Vancouver, eu tinha a professora, eu tinha aula uma dia por semana por 8 meses. Agora meu português é não bem, mas eu preciso praticar mais. Basically, I had a tutor that I found in Vancouver, and she taught me Portuguese 1 day a week for 8 months, and lo and behold, I got my intermediate certificate about 8 months into her teaching me. Desculpe. Quando eu não falo, eu não lembrei meu português. Basically what I'm saying is when I'm not practicing, I forget my Portuguese. So learning a language is a good thing because it also sharpens your pencil up here, and not to mention it becomes very useful when you're traveling. Thank you so much for watching. This is part 1 of the 30 things that I've learned now that I'm turning 30. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe it below. If you like it, please like it. And if you have a question, comment, and I will honestly answer either in those comment sections or I will make a video about it. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great day.